Thing of that, just with that moment of just like, oh, everyone feels good doing that. It energizes you to a degree, and everybody needs that moment. So, would you like to also experience the moment of just getting righteously angry, Lucas?
Oh God.
Well,
What are you bringing to me now, Karl?
Well, no, it's just another story I wanted to talk about. It's something else that happened during lockdown. It's going to be interesting to talk about, and it's one of those moments where you can just read it and go, "Oh, fuck you." Just saying with that dude.
Okay,
So,
okay.
did you follow at all the briefly lived internet drama, big quotation marks around the word drama, between Chrissy Teigen, Maria Kondo, and the food writer Alison Roman?
I'm not sure if I even know who all of those people are, and I'm not aware of the drama now.
Okay, well, we can start from the beginning. We can start with Alison Roman. She is a author for the New York Times, so she's a columnist, I should say.
Okay.
She writes like food shit. Here's some recipes. She's got a couple of cookbooks out, things like that. Chrissy Teigen, perhaps best known for being married to John Legend, but she also does her own stuff, including cookery-based things. And she runs an Instagram page, which is apparently very popular in those circles. And then you got Maria Kondo. She's the Japanese lady who tells people how to like declutter their homes and their lives. You probably saw the memes about her.
Like show that went round on Netflix recently.
Yeah, does this bring you joy? No, it does not. So get rid of it.
Yeah.
And she's like a self-help guru. And the reason I love her is that the edit someone did of her holding a gun. And it's like, you do not spark joy, goodbye. Or the other one someone did, and they put her as their background on their computer, and they've got like 1,000 tabs
Oh God.
just on their computer, and it's just like, and they tweet it at her saying, does this spark joy? It's one of those really funny things. But Tegan and Kondo, they're just two nice ladies who were just doing their thing. And then Alison Roman is up and coming in the world of cooking and like lifestyle blogging, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And there was an interview she had with the New Consumer about a new cooking line that she was going to put out and a TV show she was going to be heading up.
Okay, yeah.
During which she shit just all over Miss Tegan and Miss Kondo, accusing them of selling out and specifically calling out Kondo for, and I quote, capitalising on her fame and making stuff that you can buy. That is completely antithetical to everything she's ever taught you. Adding, I'm like, damn bitch, you fucking sold out immediately. Someone's like, you should make stuff. And she's like, okay, slap my name on it. I don't give a shit. And that's a criticism of Kondo selling things with her name on it when she supposedly espouses the benefits of a minimalist lifestyle, which is a complete misreading of what she actually teaches.
The thing is, like, okay, so the idea is, like, oh, if you don't use this, it doesn't bring you enjoyment, don't have it. That doesn't mean you don't have anything.
Yeah, so you don't even know much about this lady. And from the description I gave, you understood her philosophy more than this lady did. Like, from that brief, albeit very poor description of what Kondo's about, you understood her philosophy straight away. That it's not about getting rid of possession, it's about getting rid of stuff that doesn't bring you joy.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not
things.
It's the same way I have a similar philosophy when I clear out my house, where it's, if I've not used it in 6 months and it's not vitally important, so it's like documents that I need, get rid. If I've not used it in 6 months, I'm probably not going to use it ever.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean throw away all your possessions. It just means if it's cluttering up your house and if the place that you live is cluttered to a point it's making you unhappy,
get
rid of that stuff. And so apparently Roman completely misunderstood that and just thinks because she puts her name on objects, that's selling the fuck out. And then she also continued shoving her foot deep into the recesses of her gob, adding in a takedown of Tegan, she had a successful cookbook, and then it was like, boom, line at Target, boom, now she has an Instagram page that has over 1 million followers, where it's just like people running a content farm for her. That horrifies me, and it's not something that I ever want to do. I don't aspire to that, but like, who's laughing now? Because she's making a ton of money. So, kind of brutal.
I mean, is she laughing at somebody for capitalising on their success?
No, she's criticising them for doing so.
That's kind of what I meant.
It's so she's shitting on them for selling the fuck out, but while simultaneously misreading what Condo's all about, and also the stuff with Tegan gets just a little bit more delicious when I reveal an extra fact. Because you don't know these stories, I get to reveal some of the stuff that emerged later.
Yeah,
and I get to hear your reaction to it. But thoughts so far?
I mean, it seems weird because didn't you tell me that she was doing it in an interview for like upcoming line of merchandise that she had?
Yes, because she's a big proponent of stuff like vintage cookware, which apparently all the stuff that she uses is unique.
I mean, I get like if she's misunderstood what Condo's trying to say, I could get the fact that she's going like, oh well, Condo's trying to tell you to get rid of stuff,
and then
also trying to buy
name.
my stuff. But she's also having a go at like Chrissy Teigen for having a line of merchandise and getting a good Instagram page while also trying to basically do the same thing.
Well, this was an interview literally to sell her brand. It's an interview about the fact that she's moving on from being just a columnist to capitalising on her burgeoning success and turning that into her own line of cookware and a TV show. So it was an interview to sell her as a brand.
Do you mean similar to what Chrissy Teigen did?
Yes. And one of the things she's doing, she's vintage cookware is a big thing. So it's like spoons that... I remember spoons being mentioned a lot because she has special spoons that she bought from flea markets and stuff that you can't buy anywhere. And they're so good because they're unique, which is why she's now making them and selling them.
Okay.
But whatever. But, Lucas, like, that TV show I mentioned, right? So that's what she's trying to do, yeah? She's trying to sell a TV show and she's trying to sell her cookware. Marie Kondo didn't really respond because she's too busy. And I found out after the fact she's got a baby and her baby's massive and it's really funny. I don't know how it's got to do with it, but she's got a baby and because she's like this tiny Japanese lady and her baby's like a couple of months old, the baby looks ginormous. So it's just her holding this giant elephant baby and it's hilarious. But Tegan did respond. So we have here, I'm reading a overview of this by one Vanity Fair. So Roman was initially pleased with the interview, sharing it on Instagram and thanking people who gave it a positive response on Twitter. She was also complimentary towards Tegan in particular, writing at one point she possessed a business savvy that is wildly enviable. So that was something people dug up after the fact.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
So people dug up after the fact that she was saying, yeah, Tegan, like, I compliment you on your business savvy while simultaneously shitting all over you for doing the same thing I'm trying to do in this interview. But the backlash against Roman, particularly how she targeted successful women of colour specifically, was swift.
Ooh.
Because that's the thing, Marie Kondo and Chris Teigen are both Asian women. And she didn't single out any like white women or white guys who capitalise on their success. Like Gordon Ramsay slapped his name on a whole bunch of bullshit.
Oh, hell yeah.
And she doesn't criticise him for doing that. It's also worth noting as well that, I'm trying to find it, I don't think it'll be mentioned here, but in the quote she did a quote from Marie Kondo where she put on, or if you read the quote as it's written, it seems like she's putting on a fake mock Asian accent.
Ooh.
Like, forgive me, please. Like, Joe, like that level of just taking...
Oh.
And the article got edited after the fact to remove that wording, but it happened after she went on Twitter and clarified that it was an in-joke between friends about a Polish cookbook or something she read that was misread, and that it wasn't a racist thing at all. But then the original article, I'll see if I can click the original article actually, because I think it has the disclaimer at the top, which is probably the weirdest disclaimer I have ever seen written on an article.
Okay.
Because it reads like, I have never seen one like it, so let's try and find it. So here we go, editor's note. After publication, Alison asked me to remove one word from this interview. To. And that was basically this word to. I'll need to find the quote, it's super annoying because... Because when I read out the quote, you'll see, she's taking the piss.
Yeah, because like without the context, the word to, I don't really understand why that
so I'll try
would need to be removed.
I'll try and find it. Because it's annoying, because they tell you what the quote is. They tell you that they took the word out, they don't tell the quote. So, here it is, yeah. So she said, while impersonating Kondo, please to buy my cutting board.
Oh.
So, which is taking the piss out of... And you can imagine, if I say that with a mock Asian accent, please to buy my cutting board,
Yeah.
You can see, that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, that does not sound good.
And they removed the word "to." So here's the editor's note again. So with that context in mind, after publication, Alison asked me to remove one word from this interview, "to," that she thought might be misinterpreted. Bear in mind, she clarified on Twitter. Anyway, so late in our conversation, used a comedic voice to conjure what sounds like a tacky infomercial pitch. For the low, low price of $99, please to buy my cutting board. I put the line in quotes to emphasise. I agreed to remove the word as I did not want it to be misinterpreted.
It's weird that she's like gone on Twitter to double down and defend herself, but then also gone to the author and been like, please take it out.
And also as well, they put it right at the end instead of the start. Because like I said, I read a lot. I read a lot of interviews for research as well. I have never seen an editor's note quite like this. And I've never seen an edit made quite like this, where it's a single word made at the behest of the person being interviewed after the fact, after they've already signed off on the article being like going up as is.
And as well, it's she's literally quoting her, and now she's getting like a word cherry picked out of an actual quote. It's like the point of a quote is that you're meant to, put in quotes what they said verbatim.
But here's the thing though, then the editor's note says again, after my edit, Alison explained the reference on Twitter, so I'll put it back. So they cut it out to try and hide the fact that it really, really looks like she was putting on a mock Asian racist Asian accent.
Yeah.
But then the guy noticed that, oh shit, she's referenced it on Twitter, so he puts it back in. And I have never seen an editor's note like that, where they take something out, but then put it back in.
Yeah.
After the... But it's insane. I've said that is... If there are any examples of that's happened out there, I would love to know about them.
I'm sure there's been times where it's, editor's note, person X reached out to us to clarify this fact.
But it's the topic of the article, the person who's in it asked me to edit something after the fact because it made them look bad.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than doing my journalistic due diligence and saying, no, you signed off on it, this is what you said, I'm quoting you as you said it, changed a quote. That's literally rewriting history.
Yeah, that's the point of quoting people, is that, as I said, it's verbatim to what they said.
It's what she said, and it's like, no, but I've changed it to be what she meant. It's like, no, there is such a thing as you can edit for brevity and things like that, but you have to include that in the quote itself.
Yeah.
You have to make clear, this is a paraphrase quote, or you've probably seen the little squares. You get the square brackets around for words that were implied by context early in the conversation.
Yeah.
In the specific quote you have aren't there, so you need them to understand the quote.
For example, if people don't know what Karl's talking about, so say, for example, you were talking about a cookbook, and then later in the quote they said, oh yeah, and it sold well, you could put in square brackets, it's the cookbook. Yeah,
put the name of the cookbook, because that's what's inferred by the context of it. And that's the thing you can do, but you don't just cut parts of the quote out and then don't tell people.
Yeah.
Because the guy changed it, but didn't put a note in saying that it had been changed. And that had been changed at the behest of the person who made the quote.
Yeah, the fact that it's a controversial quote as well, you are covering someone's ass. That is not what you should, as you say, as a journalist, be doing. Oh, God.
And that's super fucking weird, and it's really... And yeah, when you read out, please to buy my cutting board, and according to her, it's a reference to an Eastern European cookbook called Please to the Table, which my friends and I love when we say please to as an inside joke that does not travel well. And you can choose whether or not to believe her. But that doesn't sound like an Eastern European thing. That definitely sounds like... when I put on that mock Asian accent, it does sound real fucking bad.
Yeah, But the thing is,
fact that she immediately
I think it's really bad as well, regardless. If she goes, it's an inside joke that I know doesn't read well outside of my group. Why did you fucking say it in an interview?
Yeah, even if it's a completely innocent thing, the fact that you went and got the quote changed.
Yeah.
And then
makes it seem like it's not innocent.
And then the fact that the website itself changed the quote, which is not a great display of journalistic integrity, without telling people, and then clarify that it was changed, and then changed it back.
Yeah,
which is amazing. So the story continues. Aftermath. So So it was positive response initially, but the backlash began when she targeted successful women of colour. She became a trending topic by Friday evening when her comments elicited a lengthy Twitter response from Tegan herself, which read, in part, because that's how you quote somebody, I don't think I've ever been so bummed out by the words of a fellow food lover. I just had no idea I was perceived that way by her especially. And Marie too. Marie is awesome. She also wrote, it's been a crappy to deal with this all day, but I could not say something. I know the actual tears I put into the work I do, and it's been really hard to see someone try to completely invalidate it. Someone I really liked. And this is where the story gets just kind of amazing. Because do you remember that TV show I told you about?
The one that, is it Alison?
Alison Roman, yeah, the one that she's going to be
The
on.
one that she was making, yeah.
And the one she's going to be heading up.
Okay.
Just guess, Lucas, based on what I've said so far and the glee in my voice as I asked you to answer this question, who was slated to be the executive producer for that show? Something Alison Roman didn't know when she said these comments.
Oh no, was it Chrissy Teigen?
It was Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen is the executive producer for that show.
Oh, yes.
Something that wasn't public knowledge because the show's obviously still in development.
Oh.
And Alison Roman didn't know this when she made these comments. Do you want to guess what she did when this little extra fact emerged?
Well, I'm guessing one of two things happened. Either the show was cancelled or Alison got kicked off the show.
No, she's still on the show.
Oh, really?
But do you want to guess what she did on Twitter after defending what she said when she found out that, oh God, no, the person I just shit talk is the executive producer on my show?
Oh, okay. Did she come out and eat some humble fucking pie?
She backed the fuck down. She
Yeah.
backpedaled so hard and is issued about 3 or 4 separate apologies as of the time of recording this podcast, including one. I need to try and find it now. Let's try and find the apology. Yeah, she attered Chrissy Teigen directly, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'll read it here. Hi, at Chrissy Teigen. I sent an email, but also wanted to say here that I'm genuinely sorry I caused you pain with what I said. I shouldn't have used you, your business, or Marie's as an example to show what I wanted in my own career. It was flippant, careless, and I'm so sorry. So, an apology, but the fact she's making it publicly,
Yep.
I get a bit annoyed about. And you might think, Karl, that's unfair. So let's go on to the second tweet in this series, shall we? Being a woman who takes down other women is absolutely not my thing, and I don't think it's yours either.
Oh, so she has tried to take down 2 women publicly, and then when she's found out she's in the shit, has put it on Chrissy Teigen to not take her down.
Yeah.
That's essentially what she's doing. She's flipping
putting
it back on Chrissy Teigen, going,
If
I
you
don't
don't-
want to bring women down. Do you want to bring me down?
Yeah.
I'm a woman.
It's the thing of, if you don't accept my apology, you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
It's that awful, wormy, slimy way of wording shit to make the other person in the wrong, despite the fact you were the one who wronged them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the line of, being a woman who takes down other women is absolutely not my thing. I don't think it's yours either. In response to Chrissy basically saying, I don't think this is a nice thing to do. And obviously Chrissy Teigen's got 5 times as many followers as this one and is running the show that she's going to do. It's just, oh no! So you couldn't even apologise properly.
No, you couldn't. You had to just do that dick move of turn it back on her.
And if you don't accept my apology, you're just as bad as I am.
Yeah.
It's just, oh.
Because now it's oh well, if Chrissy Teigen tried to take her off the show, it's oh well, Chrissy Teigen likes to take down women.
Yeah, how I can't believe she'd treat me like that, a fellow creator.
Yeah.
It's really bad for her to use her platform and her
Even
fame
though
to do
she's
that.
just publicly shot at her in an article.
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh man, that's broke my brain a little bit, Karl.
Yeah. That was the thing that happened. I just thought you might, that moment of just, like I mentioned earlier, just oh yeah, you've got yours. I went, it's oh, do you want to guess who's executive producing the show that she's going to be on? It's oh man, I would pay some amount of money to have been a fly on the wall when she got that call from her agent or whatever saying, do you know who the executive producer on your show is?
Do you know what you've just fucking done?
Yeah. It's no, who is it? It's Chrissy fucking Teigen, man.
It's oh man. You know what that is? That is the online / journalistic equivalent of talking shit about someone, and it's like, they're right behind me, aren't they?
They are right behind me right now, aren't they?
It's like, oh god damn it.
With that line of, I'm not a person who takes down other women, when you gleefully took down them and made fun of them and accused them of selling out, and then
it was all fine until you found out, oh wait, one of them is like in charge of my fucking future.
So good. And then the internet being the internet went and dug up a load of old tweets from Alison, where she's just really mad at Chrissy. Like, she's tagging her in stuff and not getting a response and stuff like that.
Oh,
and it's like, maybe there's some reason she's a bit pissed off about this.
You don't hide on the internet, Karl.
There's no hiding on the internet. You can't delete all this. But yeah, I just thought it was really funny. Just that thing of, it just emerged. Because I think it was someone else who worked on the show, because Chrissy Teigen was quite classy in it and didn't actually say anything. But someone else who worked on the show, and this isn't supposed to be public knowledge, but I feel compelled to mention, for the sake of your career, this woman is executive producing the show you're trying to fucking shill in this interview. Maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Like, here's a cautionary tale right here, folks.
It's like, so we don't actually know what's going on from there, but a little addendum that happened, as I've said, which reminded me of this, because I saw it in the trending tab. I'll quickly just make sure I get the headline correct. But it is, her food column has been taken down and she's been placed on temporary leave.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we don't know anything more. So this is a story that happened this morning, which is why it reminded me of it. But yeah, she's on temporary leave. And something that emerged after this, because I'm not really into the whole cookery. I cook, but I cook for sustenance. And the only time I ever really give a shit about what I'm cooking is like how much protein it has when I'm going to the gym that day. And someone pointed out that basically this lady, Miss Roman, one of the things that she's done is just take already existing recipes from Asian cultures, which is why people singled out, like, why are you only tagging women who are Asian? She's taken Asian recipes and then just made them her own. And I'll try and find the one that she's done. So it's Alison.
Oh dear, this already doesn't sound good.
Okay, so she has here a recipe. It's a recipe that she claims is her own, because it's called, I shit you not, Alison Roman's internet famous chickpea stew.
Okay.
So she's called it Alison Roman's internet famous chickpea stew.
Wow.
I'm not sure what the exact dish that it is, but it's been pointed out multiple times that it is literally just a South Asian dish that she's put a name on. She's taken some of the ingredients out, so it's not as spicy, so white people can eat it.
Yeah, basically.
And then told people that but basically I invented it. It's mine. It's my chickpea stew.
Fucking god! Like, the fact that, you know, if you want to make a cookbook, obviously it's very hard nowadays, especially with, like, you know, being able to look up anything on the internet. It's very hard to not, you know, use other people's recipes as inspiration. Yeah. But the fact that she's just slapped her own name over someone else's recipe.
An already existing dish that is a staple food of an entire culture, and presenting it as if she invented it.
I was going to say, like, even if she compiled a bunch of recipes and said, here's a cookbook of good food that I find enjoyable, that's fine. Don't call it your own recipes, though.
It's not even that. It's obviously, you can do variations. I'm sure, like, Gordon Ramsay's done variations on all sorts of stuff like that, but it's just the one of my internet famous stew.
Yeah.
And it's been pointed out, it's just a fucking... people eat this all the time.
This is a common recipe.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It's just so funny.
Oh, God.
What a great start. The twists and turns, man.
Yeah. The fact that Chrissy Teigen was producing the show was amazing.
That is like, what a twist.
That is like the fucking nail in the coffin.
It's so good, because it's that thing of, like, if you were writing this for a TV show to create, like, the optimum amount of drama, that is exactly the kind of twist that you'd want.
Yeah, that would be like the cliffhanger at the end of the episode. Like, she gets the phone call. It's like, do you know who's producing the show? No, who? Chrissy Teigen. Like,
oh God, no.
To be continued.
It's like, do. Oh, like fucking the audacity. I invented the chickpea fucking stew.
Oh, man. Oh dear God.
It's also worth pointing out as well. Tegan did clarify after the fact that Instagram page that was accused of being a content farm is run by me and 2 other women.
Yeah.
Like we just like cooking. It's not
And
a
that's
content
the thing
farm.
is, like up until this point, I've briefly heard of both Marie Kondo and like Chris Tegan. Don't know much about them, which is why I need you to clarify. But like,
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but like good things about those people. Of just, oh yeah, they're just like relatively famous women who were nice.
Yeah. That's the thing as well. Why would you shit on the adorable Japanese lady who's just like, I just don't want you to live in squalor.
Yeah.
Well, also, I found the meme, so I'm just going to copy it. I need to send you it because this is great. Are you ready? This put me on my fucking ass the first time I saw it. It's just Marie Kondo smiling with a gun. You do not spark joy. Goodbye. It put me on my fucking. I could not.
God.
I couldn't handle it. It was so good. Oh man, I love it. Gotta be great.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna shit talk the person who's literally responsible for my career. Who holds whether or not I'm going to be successful in their hands.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shit talk her.
I really don't understand what she was getting at either, because
it makes no sense.
She seemed to be slamming people for doing what she was planning on doing.
Yeah, I'll find the thing about the fucking spoons, because I was talking about that. So here we go.
Oh yeah, you were, yeah.
So what do you think about products or putting your names on a restaurant, which was what the question that sparked the inevitable dunking, quote unquote, on Miss Tegan and Miss Connor. So I have a collaboration coming out with the cookware startup Material, a capsule collection. It's limited edition. The fuel tools that I design are based on tools that I use that aren't in production anywhere. Vintage spoons and very specific things that are one-offs that I found at antique markets. Here's a pro tip. If it's a spoon or it's any piece of cutlery or something that is used by thousands and thousands of people, it's not a one-off. It's just that you've got the only one you're aware of.
Yeah, yeah.
Factories making spoons didn't make one fucking spoon. It's just that it's no longer in production and you found it.
Yeah.
It's not a one-off, it's that you've only got one.
It's like, Karl, turn around and look at your shelf. You see that SNES that's vintage? Yeah, you've got the only one.
Yeah, it's a one-off. I found it in a shop. It's vintage. It's very specific. They only made one. So, so that alone is like, I don't know what point. And then it goes on, that would have to be done in such a specific way under very intense standards. And I would not ever want to put anything out into the world that I wouldn't be so excited to use myself. Like the vintage spoons that I own.
So spoons.
Like she already says that I use my own stuff. And they're going to be trying to remake it. Like, it's quite fitting though, given that she's just taken recipes from other cultures and made just poor imitations of them. That's the thing she's willing to slap her name on. It's very on brand.
Yeah, that was exactly my thought process then. I just twigged of like, hang on. So all she's doing is slapping her name on vintage products as well as vintage recipes. And just like going, yeah, these are my own things.
So I love my Le Cruchette Dutch oven, but I don't need to make a Dutch oven. I love my restaurant supply sheet pans, but I don't need to make a sheet pan. I love my fish spatula that comes from a baking company. I don't need to make my own. But she apparently needs to make her own spoons.
You can't get them anywhere, Karl.
Yeah, you can't get them anywhere. I found them in an antique market. Do you think as well, it's just a fucking regular spoon, but the guy behind the thing saw she was a hipsterish white girl blogger and just made up some story. Yeah, it's a spoon. It was used hundreds of 50 years ago. They don't make them anymore. She's like, oh my God.
This is the only one left.
You know what? I need to find out. I need to know about this fucking spoon now. It's pissing me off. So Alison Roman, vintage spoon. I need to see what this spoon is. Vintage spoon.
Yeah.
Internet, tell me about this spoon. Images. There's no images of the spoon.
I just like to imagine that Karl is just Googling like the word spoon.
No, I've just Googled Alison Roman spoon, and it's not. There's no picture of it anywhere.
I'm not sure whether that's like the right context to be Googling it.
I'm trying to find it, but I'm seeing some examples of just older style spoons.
Mm-hmm.
But none of them really look like they would do any specific job better than a regular spoon.
I think the only thing like that I can think of is just, oh, it's a nice, like, aesthetically pleasing design, like a vintage design.
At which
but
point...
it's not going to do a job differently than another fucking spoon.
At which point it is exactly as pointless as the things you're criticising the other people slapping their name on.
Yep.
Because if it doesn't do a specific function better than something you can buy in a shop, why the fuck would you need to buy your version of it?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously that led into a follow-up question, which was there's a fine line between consumption and pollution, right? Oh god, they use the word pollution. That's awful, right? Is in polluting the buyer's market with your shitty products. And then that led her into say, I think that's why I really enjoy what I do, because you're making something but it goes away. I like the idea that Marie Kondo decided to capitalise on a fame and make stuff you can buy that is completely antithetical to everything she's ever taught. And then that goes into the quote that I said earlier.
But yeah, once again, is not antithetical to it, because what she's saying is get rid of the stuff that like you don't enjoy.
And if she makes a nice blender that you want, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Like if that brings you joy and you use it, as far as I'm aware, that like still works within an ethos of keeping things in your house that you like to have.
Oh, here we go. This is something that's been left out of, I guess, recollections and recountings of this tale. Okay. After she shits all over Chrissy Teigen, she says, I'm more interested in expanding myself as a writer, because there's nothing more hipstery and up your own arse than saying, I just want to grow as a writer. My next book is going to be narrative non-fiction, essays and short stories and stuff.
Okay, sure.
I look forward to those never going anywhere.
Yeah. I look forward to them being as popular as Chrissy fucking Teigen.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's what everyone always says. I've got the next great American novel in me.
Yeah.
I can write the next... The thing is, the only reason I'm aware of this person is because when they were given the ability to go off script, they immediately shoved their foot into the back of their mouth and fucked up, and then wrote a really bad apology and seems to have a really poor ability to communicate their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to write essays and short stories.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of like, I guess, celebrities or presenters and hosts and things that spend a lot of their career just working off a teleprompter, and then you see them work like naturally and improvise for the first time, and either they say something like horrendously awful or they just don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's been weird for me watching like the late night shows, because I don't watch them, but if you're on YouTube, they will always be suggested to you.
Oh, right, okay.
You can't escape being suggested. Here's Seth Meyers or James Corden or Colbert.
I watch video game stuff, so it's constantly like Jimmy Fallon or Conan O'Brien like talking about video games.
But you'll always have that in the peripheral. If you use YouTube at all, you'll always be suggested those kind of videos, because they're generally they make it into trending a lot, so they try and push it onto a wide margin of like people on YouTube. Yeah. What has been really interesting for me is seeing all the late night shows that are now recording from the host's house, and their production values are worse than Fact Fiend.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I look at them and you see like the camera's not focused.
Yeah.
And the audio's terrible, or they like Joe when they're Skyping in, the guests are being Skyped in on these late night shows, and this multi-millionaire has a worse setup than we do.
It says a lot.
We intentionally make ours bad.
Yeah. It does say a lot that the best produced talk show right now is the one set in Animal Crossing.
It's so bad. I don't get it. So I've been looking, like, I'll just see the thumbnail, and it's like, oh, Stephen Colbert is talking to John Oliver, and they're Skyping with each other, and their camera setup looks worse than mine, and I intentionally made mine bad on purpose.
Yeah.
And this is a highly polished, produced show with millions of dollars and a team of hundreds behind it. And it looks worse than the stuff that I fart out.
People might be forgetting that there's still a team behind that show. It's not like the celebrities have been given nothing, no money, and just been told, like, yeah, do it yourself. It's like there's still teams of people. There's still a bunch of money going into those shows. And yeah, they look worse than Fiend.
It's like the one of Tiger King. We won't talk about that because obviously that's an adventure in of itself. But the final episode they did, which Joel McHale,
special,
the special, which was a big bait and switch, and I was very mad.
Yeah.
There's an extra episode of Tiger King. Shit, yeah. What is it? Oh, it's Joel McHale sat in his house talking into an iPhone.
Yep.
It's like, my videos look better than this.
And I get that they did the joke of like, oh, I asked them for money and all they did was send me iPhones. Like, I get that they acknowledge it, but it still doesn't make it like better.
Netflix has millions of dollars in its coffers, and it looks worse than the videos I fart out. And I make them look bad on purpose. It's so baffling. Oh man, the one that gets me though is